Radha Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yasoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Rajagatari also. Dr. Vadana Samjaya Prabhupada Gita Namacharya Dastar Jai Prem Sakaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shasti Gaur Bhakti Vrindagi Jai Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopita Shamakunda Radha Kuda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Sri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadvip Dham Ki Jai Gang Tamona Tulsi Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Ananda Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Samaveta Bhakti Vrinda Ki Jai Go Premanandi All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Guranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Vasaya Bhulade Mari Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Shatarane Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasni Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 48, verse 27. Yasya Janardana Bhavaniha na pratito Yogeshwarai api durapa gati surashai Chinja asuna sutta kalatra dan apta geha Dehari moha rasanam bhavadhiyamayam Istya, by fortune, Janardana, O Krishna, Bhavan, you, Iha, here, na, by us, Pratita, perceivable, Yogeshwarai, by the masters of mystic yoga, Api, even, Durapagati, a goal hard to achieve, Sora Ishai, by the rulers of the demigods. Chindi, please cut. Asu, quickly. Na, our. Sutta, 4 children. Kalatra, wife. Dana, wealth. Apta, worthy friends. Geha, home. Deha, body. Adi, and so on. Moha, of delusion. Rasanam, the ropes. Bhavadiya, your own, my illusory material energy. Translation, it is by our great fortune, Janardana, that you are now visible to us. For even the masters of yoga and the foremost demigods can achieve this goal only with great difficulty. Please quickly cut the ropes of our illusory attachment for children, wife, wealth, influential friends, home, and body. All such attachment is simply the effect of your illusory material energy. Text 28, Sukadeva Goswami continued, thus worshipped and fully glorified by his devotee, the Supreme Lord Hari, smilingly addressed Akrura, completely charming him with his words. The Supreme Lord said, you are our spiritual master, paternal uncle, and praiseworthy friend, and we are like your sons, always dependent on your protection, sustenance, and compassion. Exalted souls like you are the true objects of service and the most worshipable authorities for those who desire the highest good in life. Demigods are generally concerned with their own interests, but saintly devotees never are. Purport. Whereas demigods may award material benefits, saintly devotees of the Lord have the power to award the real perfection of life, Krishna consciousness. Thus, Lord Krishna reinforces the respectful mood he has adopted here towards his uncle Akrura. No one can deny that there are holy places with sacred rivers, or that the demigods appear in deity forms made of earth and stone, but these purify the soul only after a long time, whereas saintly persons purify just by being seen. You are, indeed, the best of our friends, so please go to Hastinapur and, as the well-wisher of the Pandavas, find out how they are doing. Purport in Sanskrit, the imperative you go may be rendered as gachasva or gacha. In the second of these cases, the word following gacha, namely sva, which is taken in the vocative sense, indicates Krishna addressing Akrura as our own. This is in reference to Lord Krishna's intimate relationship with his uncle. We have heard that when their father passed away, the young Pandavas were brought with their anguished mother to the capital city by King Dhritarashtra, and that they are now living there. Indeed, weak-minded Dhritarashtra, the son of Ambika, has come under the control of his wicked sons, and therefore that blind king is not treating his brother's sons fairly. Go and see whether Dhritarashtra is acting properly or not. When we find out, we will make the necessary arrangements to help our dear friends. Sukadeva Goswami continued, thus, fully instructing Akrura, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari then returned to his residence, accompanied by Lord Shankarshan and Uddhava. Thus end the purports of the humble servants of his divine grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the 10th canto, 48th chapter, Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Krishna Pleases His Devotees. So this verse here concludes the uh, prayers and the worship of Akura. And of course, he's talking about how rare it is that the Lord would become visible to them. And he says it's rare even for masters of yoga and the highest of the demigods. So, of course, to see the Lord in any form is difficult, even for the demigods and the masters of yoga. But to see Krishna is even more difficult. We know that there are many forms of the Lord, but the Bhagavatam points out that Krishna is very special. And after listing the avatars in first canto, then it is said that Krishna is tu Bhagavan Swayam. Krishna is very special. He is the ultimate form of the Lord. So, the Lord in any form is difficult to see or rare, and that means that the highest form is the rarest of all. Just as we will have different gems. So some gems are very cheap because they're not very good. They've got marks in them, they're cracked or whatever. Color is wrong, etc. Of course, we have artificial ones also, which are very cheap. And then we have genuine ones, but they're not very good quality. So they're quite cheap. So you can get a nice big ruby like that, bad quality for a few rupees, 100 rupees or something, big one, but it's useless actually, because it's not very good quality. And if you get a better quality one with better color, no cracks, and no spots, etc., then it becomes more expensive. And then when you get very good quality, very nice color, very nice sparkle, no cracks, no dots, nothing, it becomes more expensive. And when you get the highest quality and the highest color, best color of all, brightest color of red for a ruby or green for an emerald or the bright blue for a sapphire, even a small stone becomes very, very, very expensive, many lakhs of rupees. And if you get a big stone, it may go into crores of rupees even. So, and they're rare. That's why they're more expensive. And therefore, most people cannot buy them. They can buy the cheap stone, but if you got money, you can buy a better stone. But if it is the best stone of all, then very few people can get them. So in this sense, very rare, hard to attain, because they're of the highest quality. So, Supreme Lord is not, of course, an inanimate object like a jewel, but according to the rarity of the Lord, then it is, or the excellence of the Lord, it is more difficult to approach Him. But it's a different reason. Not because, of course, gems are based on money, etc. And if you got money, you can buy it, and very few people have so much money. So it's not a material thing in reference to attaining the Supreme Lord. But to attain the Supreme Lord, one needs devotion. If we don't have devotion, we cannot see the Lord. If we have a little respect for the Lord, then we can get to Brahman. We don't see the Lord. Or maybe we can see Paramatma. But to see Bhagavan, you need a strong devotion. So in other words, prema. That's the price we have to pay. It's not material money or anything. We need prema. And to see Krishna and associate with Krishna, we need very special prema. And if we don't have that special prema, we can't see him. We will see Vishnu instead. If we don't have any prema at all, maybe we see Brahman. So, a qualification for seeing the Lord is this devotion, and we need special devotion for attaining Krishna. So, now, in one sense rare, in one sense not rare, because it's not in terms of money or anything like that. And also, compared to other processes, bhakti is easy. So in that sense, it should be Krishna should be more available, or Vishnu should be more available, because bhakti is an easy process. But the problem is that less people want to see the Lord. They don't want to see. They have no desire to see. So first we have to have the desire, then we follow the process, then we get the result. But if we don't have the desire, we're not going to become qualified. So Krishna is rare because our Supreme Lord in general is rare because people don't desire it. Most people want material things. Then some desire liberation. So very few want Bhagavan and that prema and that type of bliss. So it is rare simply because there's less people interested in that. Not because the Lord is hiding and whatever like that, but people are less interested. So it's not the fault of the Lord that he's unavailable. It is the fault of the people. They don't want. They want something else. And that's why the Lord is rare. So, of all the forms of the Lord, then Krishna is the rarest, because not only we have to have prema, but special prema, so you have to do it in a certain way. And then you get to realize Krishna. And if we don't do that, then we realize another form of the Lord. And of course there is choice. Some people prefer Krishna, some people do not prefer Krishna. They prefer Vishnu or Rama or someone else. So there's many factors that make Krishna very rare. Nevertheless, there is also a certain intensity required in the relationship with Krishna, which depends on some sort of sweetness, an intimate relationship, which increases the quality of the prema. So if we don't have that intensity, we don't see Krishna. So in this sense, Krishna is rare. At the same time, not rare, because Krishna is also eager to give himself to those who are qualified. So therefore he's very available. So we see in Vrindavan, very available. He's there every day with everyone. And not only available, he's living in the same house as Nanda and Yasoda, as their child. He's with the cowherd boys as their friend. He's with the gopis as their lover. So he's very available in that sense. So he's not rare to devotees who are qualified at all. Very, very easily available to them. They're just simply friends and relatives, that's all. And they associate like that. So that's a very remarkable feature. But that same Krishna is not available to the yogis and the demigods and other persons because they are not qualified. They don't have that type of devotion. And even Brahma, after he sees Krishna and appreciates him, what does he do? He goes back to Brahmaloka. He doesn't stay in Vrindavan. He realized he is not qualified. He got the wrong form and he hasn't got the intensity of the relationship. He's different, not the same. So even the highest demigods like Brahma and Shiva, they cannot directly associate with Krishna in his sweet form. So what Akura here is saying is actually very true. Now the Yadus get to see Krishna in Mathura. For 12 years they did not see him. And actually they never get to see the Vrindavan pastimes. So in that sense, Vrindavan is very rare even for the Yadus. They get to see pastimes of Krishna in Mathura and Dwarka, but not in Vrindavan. Therefore the people of Vrindavan are the highest devotees, and they get to the most sweet pastimes of Krishna. They get to experience them. But in any case, Krishna in Mathura and in Dwarka is also sweet. compared to the other forms of the Lord. There's more relationships, like we still have Sakya and Madhurya Rasa, etc., available to many people in Mathura and Dwarka, which we don't see with Vishnu or Nrsimhadev, etc. And a certain intensity is there in the relationship also. So, definitely the relationships of the devotees with Krishna in Mathura and Dwarka, like here we have the introduction of the Pandavas. So their relationship is much superior to the relationship that the servants have to Vishnu in Vaikuntha. It's much more intimate. And again, Krishna lives in the house of the Pandavas, etc. And then higher than that, of course, is the association with the Yadus, because Krishna is constantly living with them, not just sometimes. He's in Mathura and Dwarka with the Yadus at all stages. And among the Yadus, of course, then we have more intimate persons like Uddhava, who's with Krishna at all times there. So, at various grades of intensity of bhakti, and therefore greater association with those devotees and Krishna. Right? And therefore it's rare for others. So, here Akura addresses Krishna and saying, we are very fortunate that we get to see you. But then he identifies himself as someone attached to worldly affairs, etc., and house and family and children, etc. In spite of the fact that actually the Yadus and the people of Vrindavan don't have any material attachments at all. But they identify themselves as people of the material world. And therefore they make statements like that, please get rid of our bondage to material attachment, etc., and Maya. So this is not actually, we cannot take these statements literally. Here, Akura makes this statement, and similarly we'll find the Nanda Maharaj and the cowherd people make similar statements. We are stuck in the bondage of the material world, etc. But actually they're not. So we should not take these words literally. But why they say this is because within the pastimes they have a certain identity. So the people of Vrindavan identify themselves as cowherd people. They don't say, oh, we are Nitya Siddhas and we are eternally liberated. They don't think like that. We are simply Krishna's friends, etc. That's all they think. So similarly in Mathura and Dwarka, the Yadus think we are the family of Krishna, and Vasudeva and Devaki are his father and mother, etc. And we are Kshatriyas, and he's a Kshatriya, etc. So that's how they think. And so they think in terms of their bodies. Right? What's the difference with material ego and material false ego, etc.? Difference is that Krishna is the center of their life. And all of this identity also is for establishing and nourishing their relationship with Krishna. That's all it's for. Similarly in Vrindavan, all their identity as cowherd people, etc., is there to nourish their relationship with Krishna. The only difference is that in Vrindavan, their identity is such that they don't see Krishna as Supreme Lord. Whereas in Mathura and Dwarka, the Yadus see Krishna as Supreme Lord, as well as being their friend, etc. Whereas with Vishnu, then we see him as Supreme Lord, not as relative, etc., etc. So the relationship is much less. So here, part of their identity is to think of themselves as people of the material world, like other people. So this is not ignorance of the normal sort. This is, we say, ignorance caused by yoga maya, to enhance their relationship, their rasa, with Krishna. That's all. So it's not material ignorance at all. So when he asks Krishna to please cut our material bondage, etc. Then this is only part of this identity that they have as people of the material world. So this is the conclusion of his praise of Krishna. We see often when the devotees offer their prayers, then at the end they make a request of some sort. So this is the request here, that you please extinguish our material attachments. So this, of course, is has a positive aspect, because it indicates that they always want to improve their relationship with Krishna. Even if it's already pure, they strive for greater and greater excellence in the relationship, greater and greater purity, etc. So it also expresses that. So after the conclusion of these prayers, then we find that Krishna addresses Akrura, and he does not act like the Supreme Lord. He praises Akrura as his elder, as his guru, as his uncle, as his friend. We are like your sons, and he offers them great respect. Instead of affirming his position, I am the Supreme Lord and everyone else is a servant, he says, I am your servant. So this is part of the sweet relationship we find here between Krishna and his devotees. We will not find this taking place in Vaikuntha. The Lord will not speak like this, but Krishna will speak like this to the Yadus and Akrura. Yes, you are our elder, and we are servants, and Krishna, Balaram, we are your servants, we are younger. We follow your order, we follow your instructions, etc. So they identify themselves also as members of the Yadu clan, but younger, and therefore obedient to the elders. So this again is Krishna. He's adopted that same mood as Akrura, and he's identifying himself as a younger person in the Yadu dynasty. Of course, we know that God is the oldest. Purana, he's the oldest of all. Of course, he's eternal, but he identifies himself as being younger than the others. So he praises Akrura, especially because of devotion. They are completely dedicated to the Supreme Lord and not to the material world, and they act for everybody's benefit. So he calls him a saintly person, sadhu. And we have many expressions in Bhagavatam, the praise of the sadhu, how even it's better than bathing in the Ganga, etc., because the purification that takes place is immediate from contact with the devotee of the Lord. So he uses that example here also in praising Akrura. So he says, you are a great devotee. So this, of course, is true. Not only is he Krishna's elder and uncle, etc., and therefore worthy of respect, but he is also a great devotee of the Lord. But then we have Krishna, who is actually the Supreme Lord, praising him as as being a great devotee. So we have Krishna praising the devotees, in spite of the fact that they're all devotees of Krishna. But we see here how Krishna identifies himself as an ordinary person, and he's praising the great devotees. He says, you're a great devotee, dedicated, etc. Then he makes a request to go to inquire about the Pandavas, who are also great devotees. So here we see Krishna's great concern for the Pandavas. What is happening to them now that Dhritarashtra is in control of the kingdom? Are they being treated well or not? So Krishna is concerned about his other devotees. We have, of course, in Mathura, Krishna killed Kamsa, so he protected the Yarus. But the Pandavas are still in danger because of the sons of Dhritarashtra. So later on we'll see this ultimately leads to the battle of Kurukshetra, etc. So Krishna is concerned about his other devotees, so he sends Arkura to find out about them. So in this way we see how Krishna cares for his devotees and tries to protect them in all cases.
Well, in the third line, Chindi asu naha sutta kalatra. See, Akrura is praying that please cut off the attachment to the family, friends. But out of our own ignorance, we create all these problems. Why we are asking Lord to cut it? We have to cut it ourselves, and we are requesting Lord to cut it. He's not asking us to get entangled.
Oh, well, because ultimately, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Mama Maya Dharatyaya, it is very difficult to get out of Maya. So ultimately, only Bhakti will do that. And why Bhakti? Because Supreme Lord controls Maya, and Supreme Lord can withdraw Maya. So he takes him as Supreme Lord, then he makes a request that you can very easily remove all attachments. Whereas if we do it on our own through jnana or yoga, then it's a very difficult process. You are the master of Maya.
You're explaining about this, that Krishna is easily accessible for some people, it's not easily accessible for some more people. And you're explaining actually this, he's easily accessible for the Vrajavasis, Vrindavan. But we see these Vrajavasis are not the ordinary people.
Yeah.
They are not ordinary people.
Yeah.
From the point of our view, there are, almost Nitya Siddha. But how can we say that he is accessible for the accessible? Because they are not ordinary people. Yeah. He is accessible only for his eternal associates.
Yeah. So again, if we are in the material world and we want to attain the Lord, then we have to do bhakti. We cannot do karma yoga or jnana yoga. If we do bhakti yoga to Vishnu, we will attain Vishnu eventually. If we have we choose Krishna, then and we do bhakti, we attain Krishna. But to attain Krishna in Vrindavan, then we have to do Raganuga bhakti. We have to follow after the people of Vrindavan and develop a similar type of mood. Then we attain that. That makes it not so rare. But if we don't take up that mood, then we cannot attain. We may go to Mathura, Dwarka, or somewhere like that instead.
And the interesting point, Maharaj, see here, this Akrura, he was, although in Mathura parts, they respect Krishna the Supreme Lord as well as relatives also, like a Sammandat, relations. But we don't see this kind of things in Vaikuntha. There is always,
They're not a relative.
Yeah,
it's not a relative.
Yeah, they don't see this. Why there is a difference then? So does it mean that this only Mathura and Dwaraka this relationship exists and Vaikuntha this relationship doesn't exist? And because we see in Ayodhya there is a relationship. Okay, but on some parts can even the Vamanadev where is there there is also a little bit relationship. Vamanadev.
Well, it's limited. With Ramchandra, relationships are his brothers and his parents. So we have limited Vatsalya and limited Sakyarasa, but everyone else is Dasya. In Vaikuntha, generally, the Madhurya is limited to Lakshmi. No friends, no Vatsalya, and everyone is Dasya. Other cases, maybe Vamana Dev, he has parents, so there is a little Vatsalya there. No Sakya. Madhurya, I suppose later on he gets married, Vamana, I don't know. But most it's Dasya again. So Vaikuntha is basically Dasya.
This Vaikuntha Lakshmi is there, but we don't see that how many Lakshmis are there. That we don't know.
Well, there's expansions of Lakshmi, the 16 Shaktis also,
that
Pushti,
Lila,
Tushti,
this
Bhu Devi, Neela, etc. are there. So but it's limited.
Maharaj, you said that if one has to enter the Vrindavan, he has to do Raganuga Bhakti. But we see the sages at the time of Lord Ramchandra, the sages who were in the jungles and the girls of the Ayodhya, they never did Raganuga Bhakti. Still they appeared as gopis in the pastimes of Krishna.
Oh. Well, they desired that type of relationship in Madhurya.
Here the desire is playing a bigger part than Raganuga Bhakti for them.
Well, it's not really mentioned what they did after that, with a desire or whatever. But certainly we find in the case of the personified Vedas, that they specifically said, we desire like the gopis. So they were, in that sense, Raganuga, following after the gopis. Okay. I don't know if any details are mentioned anywhere.
So Maharaj, Jiva's desire to be in which particular pastime plays a very important role apart from what he does in the bhakti?
Apart from?
That bhakti he follows, Raganuga or Vedic bhakti, but the Jiva's desire plays a very important role.
Well, they're the one that choose what they want to worship and how they're going to worship, so that their choice is there, yeah, their preference. So even if it's offered, some people do not choose, as we see with Venkat Bhatta's family in Sri Rangam. Lord Chaitanya was there talking about Krishna, but they said, no, we want Vishnu instead. So, choices there always.